What's up, everyone? This is a follow-up video for the one that I made about failure, success, and high pressure situations. I was looking over that video and I realized that I went more into what you would say a psychological perspective, and I talked a lot about like thought process and mindset, and I guess what I left out, which was a big piece of what I wanted that video to be, is handling situations when it's tangible and you're actually at the event, or you have something that you're doing and you feel this intense amount of pressure on you, and winning is the goal. Anytime that there's winning involved, it's like a tremendous amount of energy build up, the preparation, and then obviously the actual event itself is something that is of a lot of pressure, depending on how one views it. So I guess I'm just going to go right into my own experience with this stuff. And with losing, that's what I'll focus on first. The main thing that I got out of my losses were things that I can do better. And that's a full perspective on the loss. It's everything that went into it and that didn't go into it. What I mean by that is maybe I spent a little bit too much time on social media because I had to sell tickets or whatever, and that's something that I dialed back a lot, actually. So there's like this period now where it's like four weeks out from the event, 5 weeks out, and I don't really even go on social media that much. I really don't post. That's one that I learned from one of my losses that I took, and to be very selfish with my time, because that's like the X factor to me, is where you're spending your time and what your focus is. So if the focus is the win and not to sell tickets or whatever, that's what it should be on. Obviously, if you're getting paid for ticket sales, it's a different story. But even then, like amateur events, even like smaller pro events, like not smaller, but up and coming pro events, you don't get paid that much anyways. So I just placed a big focus on training and the preparation. Now, another thing is recording. So if you have somebody there who is coming to watch you, I highly recommend that you try to record the event. Again, this can be somebody there that's watching you, or even somebody that's just there in the crowd. Have them record you, because you could look back on those events and see what you did right, see what you did wrong, and where you need to make adjustments, right? And the final thing is not being too emotional about, the situation. The fact is, that your performance came up short, and that sucks. That always is going to suck, and you always want the win. But that just means something. It just means that you need to prepare differently. It means that you need to do something differently, and staying objective to the situation as a whole is going to move you further, rather than being emotional about it and trying to protect your ego and not look at the situation for what it is. Now, when you are successful and you're winning, I think something can happen too where it plays into your ego, where for me at least, I kind of want to hold on to that feeling, and I don't know, it's like, I remember when I first started getting into competitions, and I didn't want to feel that like hard work again. Like, I didn't want to go back into the training room. I'm just like, man, I just want to soak this up. I I don't want to do like anything. I just want to like soak all this in and just kind of hold on to this moment. But that's cool to experience that and to embrace that, but and to allow yourself to feel all of the enjoyment that comes from a win, but also to get back into the practice room and start training as soon as possible, as long as injury isn't occurring or hasn't occurred during the match or whatever. Um, so also being realistic about that. Another thing is not letting praise set in too much, like not being attached to anyone's praise or anyone's criticisms. Now, what I mean by that is like not just criticisms, because if it's coming from your coach or if it's coming from your teammates or something that you see in yourself, that's really important to adjust. But someone who's like, "Oh, you suck," like you should just stop, like whatever, like that's kind of BS criticism. That's what I'm talking about. And the praise and stuff like that, it's I think it's a psychological hurdle that that a competitor eventually has to get over and cross, so they don't just get stuck in that loop, and they don't just feed off of it like a hamster wheel or something. Because at the end of the day, everything comes back to you. Like, this competition is for you. It's not for anybody else. Like, this high pressure situation in which you're going to learn so much and grow a lot is 100% for you. A lot of people I find, they're like, oh, there's a big crowd there. And this was how I used to think too. Like, oh, there's a big crowd and I'm doing it for everybody else. I'm doing it for no, you're not. You're doing it for you. And if it's not for you, then I would readjust. I would reevaluate your motives for going in there, because if it's for anybody else and you're going into something that could potentially get you injured, and you're doing it for other people, oh man, that's dangerous territory, I feel. I think you have to be 100% in it. Again, not for anybody else. And last thing, and I'll end with this. I remember when I won some of my MMA matches, and it's like I had this huge like surge of like this like winner complex. I just felt so good, and like everything I did, it just felt effortless afterwards. Like it really felt like I was on this high. And then eventually, like, I started to tank back down, and when I felt that, I felt like it was a little hard to connect with anybody, because I just felt like there wasn't really anybody to talk to, and it was kind of weird. It was like, dude, why are you feeling like off when you just had this great thing just happen to you? But I think the event and the emotions and everything that goes into it, it's so freaking high that when you start to come back down and it's post event, or even the night, like of the event after it's all done, there's something happens where it's hard for me to sleep. It was more difficult for me to connect with like people after, and I just felt like it was really important for me to kind of like separate myself and kind of like meditate on this. When I say meditate, just uh, like disconnect from social media, disconnect from larger groups all the time, take some time for myself. And I even started seeing a counselor too, because maybe there's more going on that I'm not seeing, or thinking about or whatever. But it's just important that, you know, these things are addressed, they're looked at, I think, for me to really just keep you on like a good path. This sense of purpose where it's so high and everything that you're doing is going into this thing, this build up, this lead up to one event, one pressure type of situation. And it's like you got this laser focus, and then when it's over, it's like poof, it just explodes, and it's like done, you know. And then it's like, well, shit, where do I put my focus on now? Where do I put my energy on now? It's something that's really interesting, because purpose, I think, goes a lot into what I'm talking about right now with these type of think he's chasing a rabbit over there with these type of situations. And I think it's so black and white because uh, at one standpoint you're doing something and it's giving you so much drive and it's getting you out of bed and it's giving you motivation, but on the other flip side, it's kind of difficult to deal with too, um, because the highs get so up there and high. It feels so good, and the event is just so like it's just extraordinary. You know, it's something that I have difficulty with managing for sure, and I don't have any answers on that whatsoever. Like I have no answers on like how to manage it better or whatever. I just know that that's something that has came up for me in the past, and I feel that it's important to address when you're talking about failure, success, and these high pressure situations, regardless of the success or failure. I think everything good comes out of pressure. I think when you decide to put yourself through that, there's this psychological component that you're taking of making yourself step into this evolutionary process of getting better. And that's such a hard thing because I feel like as humans, we want to do we want to do the minimal, the bare minimum to survive. And once we've met that, like we have food to eat, we have shelter, we have water, it's like, I don't really want to do that much. But when you can push yourself to go to do stuff like this, I think it makes you better. I think it makes your teammates better, everybody around you, because the work that you're going in to it, regardless of the win or the loss, I think it matures you as a human being and as an athlete. That's really it. I went over 10 minutes. I didn't want to make it over 10 minutes, but that's just what it is. Yeah, guys, if you have anything that you would like to see in the future, drop a comment in the comment section below. Share this video if you can. It really helps the channel grow. And until next time, thank you for watching.